Oops.
Somebody commented on one of my posts and said, "Come on, admins, this is not what this group is for. You know, aren't you guys going to do your
Are we really
jobs?"
disrupting your life to the point to where you need to talk to an admin about that? All right. Welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast, episode number 125 with Steve Wilk. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Also, feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, you should be, because we want you to be there. Search for Lift Heavy Run Long Community and request to join right now. My name is Wilson Horrell. I am one of your hosts. The Lift Heavy Run Long podcast is not censored, so listen at your own risk. Lift Heavy Run Long has an app, and I'm going to tell you about it. For $3.99, you can be on that app. You'll be added to the Lift Heavy Run Long community, and you will get 4 barbell strength exercises per week, 4 WODs a week, and 3 body weight strength exercises that are programmed by our very own Valerie Hunt, who is one of the great endurance athletes and great athletic trainers. And she is so kind to be of service to us on the app, and she is available, and you're just not going to find many trainers that are available to you at a moment's notice for $3.99 a month.
Exactly.
For $9.99 a month, you can have access to any and all of the programs that Lift Heavy Run Long has to offer, anywhere from 5K distances to 100-mile distances to Spartan races, triathlons, you name it, we have it. Now, it is unlimited access. You can have any program at any time. However, you can only have one program at a time. And that is because the app limits us to that.
Meaning that if I start on the 5K program and 2 weeks later I decide I want to be on the Get Strong as Shit program, I have to switch to that.
Switch to the Get Strong as Shit program.
Right.
You can't do 5K and Get Strong as Shit program.
You can't train for a 5K and get strong as shit anyway. So
you can do both of those things with the 5K program because strength is in there. But what you can't do is you can't sign up for $9.99 a month and then download all of the programs and then haul ass and go back to your own website and try to create your own app, which that's the problem that you run into.
You think people do that?
Is it a problem?
There's one person in particular who I know did that because we went back and forth.
They made a website and sold programs?
He was building an app. And he was soliciting that app, and he was like, I don't see why I can't have all this. And
I think that's kind of cool, actually, that somebody wants to steal it from us.
Do you think that's cool?
I do.
Yeah, all right. Well,
I mean, it's entitled to their opinion.
If the guy looked at it and was like, screw this, I don't want any of this crap. But it's value. It has value.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
He's like, stop talking.
You want to talk about value? I have a valuable commodity sitting to my right.
Oh, not a commodity.
Is that not a commodity? That's
That's bad. Too unique to be a commodity.
Rewind. I have a really hot wife sitting next to me.
Nice
Dr. Amanda Kimsey Horrell.
Hi.
Jacked and tan.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm tired.
You look great in your Mississippi State pullover. That's what that is, correct?
This is burgundy.
You do that intentionally. She'll be like, I got this for you because it's crimson. I'm like, don't say that.
I say burgundy.
Say maroon.
I never think of the word maroon. It's burgundy.
You intentionally won't say it. It's like Voldemort.
I just don't use the word maroon. Sounds like moon.
It's more of a wine color.
There we go.
What's new in your world?
Not much. Just working a lot. Got the house halfway decorated for Christmas.
Mm-hmm. We got a big tree.
Got a big ass tree again.
Yes, we did.
How
We-
tall? How tall are the ceilings in the
We even
cab?
went
They're probably,
at the top of the A-frame part. I guess what 20,
I don't know.
How big's the tree?
14.
Well, I remember last year's tree was huge.
It was massive. It was like 16 or 18.
It was ridiculous.
Well, that's the problem. So last year's tree,
Yeah,
we
last
didn't
year-
have one last year.
Did you have a
because we were-
Griswold tree last year?
Oh
we
man,
could hardly get it through the doorway.
it was so
Yeah.
big.
It was-
we got a big one the first year. And we're like, this is so much
Yay,
fun,
fun.
and this is great. And then we got another that was even bigger, and we said we can't do this anymore, so we're going to get a smaller one. But so then when you go smaller in comparison to that one, it was still a monster. So we got a huge tree, and it's great.
yeah, I thought we were doing really well, and then we got it in the house and set it up, and I was like, okay.
Yep.
Little sap.
Little sap, there was a lot of that.
We were covered in sap.
And next to Amanda, we have the great Sir Steve Wilk.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
Fine.
Doing well. How are you?
Man, I can't even tell you how excited I am that you're here.
Well, thank you.
Like super duper excited.
I
been
love
looking forward to
that
this
the
for a while.
LHRL ambassadors slowly but surely are all making the trek back to Memphis, or not back to Memphis, but to Memphis to
Homeland.
see us and to be on the podcast.
Yeah, and for Steve to say, I'm going to come in town specifically for your podcast. I'm going to get plane tickets. I'm going to come in town for your podcast.
love it.
And then the people from St.
Coincidentally.
Jude called and they said, Steve's coming in town that weekend. We should have the
We're gonna
St.
go
Jude
have the
Marathon that weekend. If he's going to be here, then he'll draw
Right.
all
It'll be
kinds of
worth it.
attention. And so now we got
so 26,000 runners
Yep.
besides him showed up because he's here.
because
We're
Steve's
kind of a big
Because
deal.
Steve-
I don't even know how we're going to take a group picture tomorrow, Saturday, because there's just going to be 30,000
We're gonna have people sit down in AutoZone Park, and we're just gonna do like a 360 cam
Can
of
we
the
get the
seating.
taller people to move to the back, please?
So by definition, Steve Wilk has raised tens of millions of dollars for St. Jude by coming in town to be on the LHRL
That's
podcast.
right.
You're welcome.
Spread the word.
There are I was mentioning before the podcast that I went to the press conference for the marathon this morning, and 26,000 runners, like another 40,000 spectators, and then 6,000 volunteers. So over 70,000 people involved with this race, and it's going to have a $30 million impact on the city.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Just
That's
on the
awesome.
city. What kind of impact does it have on St. Jude? How much does just the marathon raise?
I didn't hear what's been raised this year. In years past, it's a couple $1 million.
Oh, it's got to be a great deal more than a
I
couple
think,
million.
I think more.
I don't know.
Team Hope raised $100,000.
I understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be.
Aren't y'all impressed with that?
Oh, I'm super
very
impressed
impressive.
with it. Yes. Yes.
I'm just thinking of it in perspective of all the runners and how many are actually raising money, and how many are how many of the teams are that successful. Because Juice Plus raised a ton of money as well. I'm on the Juice Plus team this year. They met their goal of
there was
something ridiculous. I
There
can't
was an
remember
email
what
that
it
came
was.
through yesterday because it was Giving Tuesday or whatever. Came in through
Yes.
this morning. It was like, holy crap! Thank y'all for doing this. I don't know that it mentioned a number, but it was pretty significant.
Somebody that's
I don't
watching
want to be
needs to find that out.
Yeah,
and
I
find
don't want
out
to be
what the-
negative, but I don't think it's $10 million.
Really?
Well, I mean, there's when you go into the heroes page, like the top donors are like $60,000-$70,000. Like,
Right,
How
but
do you
that's-
rate? How do you do that?
Yeah.
You
Just
know?
passionate people that know how to, and the problem is, I mean, I'll say that we know a lot of people that run, and we know a lot of people that fundraise, so it's hard for us to imagine any one person raising that. But if you're the one guy in Salt Lake City that's running as a hero for the St. Jude Marathon,
Right.
and you're
you
posting to
also,
all your friends.
You're also the CEO of some.
yeah,
large
exactly. Like,
company.
you can get.
Yeah.
I actually got 4 or 5 different hero emails from customers at my work. Like, hey, Brian, will you?
I get them from like from everybody, from like
So-
the weirdest. I don't even people I don't even know. I don't even know how this person got my email address.
Yeah. Well, and I send them to weird people like that too because
Do
I
you?
just load my
I don't.
You just take all the email addresses out of the app.
I had a guy that was doing an insurance audit, a workman's comp audit. That
Oh, nice.
was like, "Don't email me this at work. You're going to get me fired." And then, of course, I sent back, "I doubt you're going to get fired for a charity
Just go donate.
email." And he's
helping
like,
kids.
"Quit sending me these messages." I was like, all right, I should have just left that alone to begin with. Bob, go back to whatever it is that you're doing. The Reverend,
What's up?
how are you?
I'm fantastic.
Are you excited about the marathon?
I am excited about the marathon.
Are you going to hit your goal?
I don't know.
What is your goal? Do you have a goal?
Sort of. I would like to be under 4 hours. I don't know if that'll happen or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm capable of running a 3:40 marathon, which is like an 8:32 pace or something. And I ran a 10-mile run last weekend at an 8:30 pace, and I'm not sure that I can hold that for 26 miles, judging by the way I felt. But I would be happy with just finishing around 4 hours. I'm good with that.
Now, capable. What can I tell somebody I'm capable? Is that based on what you've done before?
My PR is 3:42.
Yeah.
So I know that it's possible for me to do that, but
Yeah. I forgot to say something that's really important.
do it. Just blurt it out.
The goal of Lift Heavy Run Long is to bring fitness to as many people as possible, as inexpensively as possible. And if you know somebody who needs to be on the app, but they don't have $3.99 a month to be on that app, then please email me at wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com, and we will add you or whoever it is that you believe fitness will enhance their life to the app free of charge, no questions asked.
It's really interesting to see the people on the app and how everybody reacts to it and how their experience is different from what you expect it to be or what everybody's experience is just different. It's like, I don't have equipment to do this. I don't understand this movement, or I don't understand what does this mean? When you assume, or I do at least, like, well, if I put 12-minute AMRAP of power cleans,
Somebody knows what that means.
well, yeah, you don't know what that means. Number one, also, you don't even know what a power clean is. Or you only have dumbbells and you don't even know what a barbell is. You know what I mean? There's people like that, and it's interesting to watch those little experiences happen.
Another angle of that, and what has been so great with it, is the amount that I've learned by programming all of that stuff into the app. Because when it all goes in, there's a lot to think about. How do we want to structure this? How do we want to lay this out? What's going to be the simplest bite-sized chunks, and what's going to be too many bite sizes? Do we want to force people to learn the lingo because that way they feel more connected and a part of? Or, do we abbreviate, or do we write everything out? And so now, having done all that, and I want our own app. I want an app that we control. I want an app that is my thing. That is like where I am. That's what I have to have an obsession. And right now it's that goddamn app. And it's all I think about.
It would be awesome to have an app like that where,
But I think that it's helpful. Looking back, it's helpful to know that, there's got to be a set of questions. There's got to be some sort of structure that would allow people that have a home gym or don't have a home gym or want body weight or want this. I mean, you can't please everybody.
Sure.
But there is a way.
By God, we're going to try.
To load somebody up on the front end with working around what you have.
Just a random thought, but we should probably have like an app FAQ page or something like that, like commonly used abbreviations. Or
he's already done that.
Is it already on the website?
Yeah, I don't even know where it is, but it's
okay.
That's been taken care of.
It should be more prominent, maybe.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
No. I was just thinking that shows how little time I spend on the website looking around at random stuff, but that's good that it's there.
I'll tell you what else is good.
Big Thirsty.
Our cameraman, Big Thirsty. We got the best in the business. We got the best looking cameraman in the business to sit behind the
I'm
camera.
going to take a picture of him.
He's so good looking that we keep him behind the lights and behind the camera because y'all just wouldn't be able to take it.
It would
People
be
at home,
it would be too much of a distraction if I was in front of the camera.
Yeah,
that's a way.
yeah.
That's an awesome way.
Moms
to
wouldn't be able to help kids with their homework. It would just all sorts of problems. People wouldn't be able to cook dinner. It would be tough.
Cats and dogs living together.
Too overwhelming. It is great to have the thirsty one.
Thanks, man.
What's new in your world?
Not a whole lot. I'm just ready for the race this weekend.
You're wearing a weight vest.
I am going to run the St. Jude Half Marathon in a weight vest. The weather forecast has significantly changed. Not the forecast itself has changed, but we've gone from 30s and 40s and 50s weather to now it's probably going to be high 60s, low 70s during the race. While Vaughn thrives in a warm environment, I suffer in a warm environment. So
I do too. I suffer in a
interesting.
warm environment and a running environment. So those two things together.
Those two things together are not good for you.
No.
Yeah. So, I'm still going to go out and I'm still going to make the best of the day. I'm bound determined to enjoy the day regardless, and we'll see what happens. Just need to find the least amount of clothes that I can wear and not have a weight vest chafe on me.
Yeah, I don't even know how that would work.
So that's what I got to figure out tonight.
Not well. That would be hard.
How much weight are you carrying?
I think it's a 20-pound vest. So I did the 10K in the 20-pound vest last year, so doing the half this year.
Congratulations once again to your Fighting Irish.
Thank you.
Notre Dame has taken care of business.
We have a undefeated regular season. We now have to sit on the sidelines while conference championships happen and see where the chips fall. We should not fall out of the top four, so we should be in the playoffs. But time will tell.
I tried to assure you the other day that wasn't going to happen before I realized that I really don't have any basis for knowing that I can assure you of things like that.
There's just a lot. One, you don't know what the committee's going to do. I mean, they have guidelines that they're supposed to follow, but it's still up to the committee to decide who ranks where, and that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, there's a committee that decides.
I knew there was a
ranks
committee,
where.
but I thought once you got to a certain point that it went into a algorithm.
I think an algorithm helps them decide.
Okay.
I don't think I think ultimately they are allowed to, decide on their own what should happen where. So now we sit on the sidelines, let the conference championships happen, and hopefully we're still in the conversation. All I want is for us to be in the playoffs, and if I have one wish beyond that, it's that we don't play Alabama first. Because nobody wants to play
Ever.
Nick Saban after.
You're hoping to make it to the national championship, win the national
I'm willing
championship
to
without
play-
having to play Alabama.
I'm willing to play Alabama. I don't want to play Nick Saban after he's had 4 weeks to plan for playing us. That's what I don't want to do. Because they play this weekend against Georgia, and assuming they win, which they should, they will have basically 4 weekends before they have to play again, and that team's going to be ready to go.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, playing a game like Georgia, there's a lot that can happen there, and there's also a lot of emotion and physicality that goes into a game like that.
Sure.
Where it may not be too bad to get on pretty close after.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, there is a chance that Georgia beats them, but even if Georgia beats Alabama, what's likely going to happen, assuming everything else plays out exactly how it's supposed to, it would end up being Clemson 1, probably Georgia 2, Notre Dame 3, Alabama 4. So Alabama would still be part of the conversation. As it stands right now, we would play Clemson first, but instead we would play Georgia first if that happened, and then get to play whoever wins out between Clemson and Alabama.
I don't understand anything y'all are talking about.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We'll move on to something else. Did everybody have a good Thanksgiving?
Fantastic.
Yes.
Good Thanksgiving?
Oh, how about that? Yeah. Let me talk about that for a second. I
Okay.
did Thanksgiving on my own for the first time this year.
Yes.
Nice.
Very
Had the whole
nice.
family over and cooked my first turkey by myself, and didn't suck.
There you go.
I was really happy with how the day turned out. My daughter-in-law made the mashed potatoes, sweet potato casserole, and the dressing, and I did everything else. So
Nice.
I was really happy. Got a lot of kudos from the family, and Thanksgiving was probably Carol's favorite holiday, if not second favorite holiday. So it's important to keep that family tradition alive and keep everybody coming together. So I was happy with how that worked out.
Yeah, I'm glad that it worked out the way that it did, because I knew that could have been potentially a really hard day. And it
Yeah,
sounds
we
like
actually had a really great day. I mean, there was a few, Mom would have liked this or Carol would have liked this moments, but we didn't really dwell on it, and just made a great day of it. So it was good.
We went to Amanda's folks' house.
And you eat your keto friendly fudge.
I was good. I was pretty well behaved for the most part.
Because Mama Horrell made, or Mama Kimsey, sorry.
She takes good care of me. I mean, she
made keto-friendly fudge.
She made keto-friendly 10 strips of bacon at a time, on a breakfast plate with, 6 or 7 eggs and some guacamole. I mean, she's good to me. I mean, and I got my, she's the mother-in-law fairy who puts like beef jerky and potato chips under my pillow as a treat.
You wake up in the morning and just like...
When I get there at night, I look under my pillow and she puts something.
Yeah, we got to the bedroom. The first thing he did was like rip the pillows off the bed. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, he held up his potato chips.
It's great. It's great to go there and just relax. The kids love it, and she did make fudge, and I was good. 3 pieces of fudge is what I ate. A little bit of cake. For the most part, I was on track.
Good.
So we had a good time.
Awesome.
You watched State win.
I watched State win.
How about that?
Boy.
Yep. They
what
put
a game.
Shellacking on them. Sometimes it goes that way. Sometimes it doesn't. I will take it. I had to find my little area of the bottom of the mountain that has Wi-Fi and just stay there, or that has cell service. And stay there.
Because you're
I'm banned.
You're banned from the Wi-Fi.
I had to find. We were at the river, and my father-in-law is so damn ornery. Like I have a little bitty TV in front of the fireplace to what you can watch football on, because if you turn it on the big one, he comes in, damn it, who turned the sports on? All we ever do is watch football, sports, and blah, blah, blah. Turn that crap off. I want to watch whatever it is.
What does he want to watch? What else would anybody want to watch on?
I don't know, detective show or something, whatever, or woodworking show, whatever he wants to watch. He doesn't want to watch cartoons or football.
It's his damn TV. He can watch what he wants.
And that is right. Very true. And so I was watching this little bitty TV about this big. But I watched it.
Thirsty, pull that microphone into your mouth a little bit. I'm afraid you're going to pick up too much echo.
How about now?
Let's see what I had. Seems like I had some things to talk about.
Do you have any reviews?
I have a shout-out thank you for Tim. One of our LHR listeners donated to my St. Jude fund.
Woot!
Very nice.
Very much.
Is it Tim or I thought it was Tom?
Different person.
Tim and Tom.
Well, I'll send another shout-out to Tom.
Yeah, for sure.
We shouted out to Tom after Tunnel Hill.
And then Tom told me that he wanted to keep some things anonymous. So I think I don't need to. He's just such a good guy. He's been so good to LHRL.
Yeah.
He's a fan. We like him.
Chris Hope raised $100,000. Team Hope, $100,000 for St. Jude.
$100,000. That's impressive.
Rob Breezy.
That dude. I like that guy.
He's great.
Yeah.
He's been listening to the podcast for a long time, and he said that he has actually decided to maybe even start running again.
All right.
Because of the podcast.
Hell yeah. He always comments on YouTube.
I think he's he's listened to us enough to know that you really don't have to run in order to run.
And you don't have to like running to run races.
Right. We brought down the standard low enough. We've come down to Rob's level, and we're here to pick him up.
See, now we just need to make his comeback race be a race that we're at so that he can, feel that much more at home with however the race goes is fine.
Yeah. We'll run behind him like on that Starbucks commercial with Jimmy Jameson. We're like, Rob. I
love that.
Rob. I spent an entire day trying to fix a 8-foot string of Christmas lights today.
Really?
Which went out. You know how Clark Griswold, when he goes nuts on Christmas vacation, I get it. I totally get it. Those things are not always easy to fix.
Each bulb has to be individually tested.
I put on about 15 bulbs, replaced about 15 bulbs.
I bought one of those projector things you stick in the yard, turn it on, it shines everything.
That's how to do it. I got one.
Yeah.
We should probably buy one every year.
Well, I'm sure we'll have to. I always run over it.
Until this
Why? Okay.
He sticks it right by the driveway against this side of the house.
Last year, she got angry in the morning.
I did not. I was just doing it. I heard. I was like, oh.
I'll show him and his stupid light.
She knew how much I liked it. She's like, I know how much he likes this light.
So as I drove off, I called him. I was like, I just ran over the light.
Hey, another thing that I saw that was really cool is Kevin Leathers in Can't Stop Endurance. His podcast did a podcast about St. Jude and how to prepare for it and what's going to be going on there. So if you don't have anything, if you need a podcast to listen to before the St. Jude race, probably be a good idea to get the 411 on what you need to know ahead of time by listening to the Can't Stop Endurance podcast.
And then also go listen to the podcast we had him on recently.
And speaking of previous guests, I mentioned before the podcast, I saw Kent Stone King today at the St. Jude press conference.
That's right.
He was there, so it's kind of cool to see him talking to the media and everybody else.
And didn't you say that he had some words of encouragement for
there was a young, I'm going to say former patient. I don't know that he's currently a patient of St. Jude that had lost a leg during his fight with cancer, and he had some pretty positive things to say, and told the kid his life wasn't over and that things would go on, and he still the kid apparently played soccer this last summer. So, he's got a bright future in front of him. Kent was encouraging him.
Very good. I know what I want to talk about. Elijah Landon, who listens to all the podcasts.
I like
And
that
he's watching live right now.
Is he really?
He is.
I can't believe that he's the blind sparrow. Did you see that?
I did see that.
Yeah,
Well, I didn't get the reference until we talked about it offline or whatever.
Well, we
but,
didn't talk about it enough offline. Like everybody,
Well,
I
I
guess, was
even
busy.
went when he said, I have a confession to make. I am the blind sparrow. I even went to YouTube and iTunes and started scrolling through reviews, like looking for usernames because it rang a bell, and I was like, but I guess I missed it. I just didn't see it. And so that's when I posted on Slack. I was like, you guys know what this Black Sparrow reference means? And then I figured it out.
But I couldn't find where it was written on Facebook. So I couldn't find the actual thread where that was said. So I couldn't reference it in there. But I thought that was so funny. Because him of all people, because he's such a great follower. He's such a great
Good supporter and everything,
good supporter. That for him to actually be the person who is like, these guys suck.
This
And
is
now,
like
that's great.
one of those TV movies where it's like the kid that's really bad in class, and then the teacher finally wins him over, and like then he's like the A student that brings everybody else.
Yeah. Just step into the light. It's all good.
Here, drink the Kool-Aid.
Drink the Flavor-Aid.
One more thing, and then we're going to get on to our guest. Sean Hilston sent me a link to a race that I thought was interesting, and it's called the Stories Ultra in Colorado Springs.
Oh, let's go.
And it was, we will write the Stories Ultra is a one-of-a-kind timed event. They have a 6-hour race, a 15-hour race, or a 30-hour race. We will write a unique question on the back of your bib to ponder as you run 50 kilometers in, we will start asking each of you to share your story inspired by this question with us.
Oh, man, what a brilliant idea.
What are we doing with these stories? ? They will become a part of either a feature-length documentary film or a part of our weekly Ultra Stories podcast. The more we share, the better we connect. Most importantly, these stories, yours, ours, and theirs, will become part of a whole new story. The story of the human experience and the celebration of human potential.
That's
That if you're gonna do a documentary, that's how to do it right there.
What time of year is this race? Do we know?
This is in February.
Can do it this year.
Sillamore.
February something.
Yeah, are we gonna cancel the Sillamore experience?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's a cool,
great.
That's a
what
great
I'm
idea.
saying is we're going to talk to the people at Sillamore and get them to let us write questions on the back of their bibs so that we can just steal that idea and do it.
We just
got to
get in post-production, getting production faster than them.
There you
That's
go.
right.
That's a great idea. Finally, the day has come. Steve Wilk, our guest. I've talked to you. I talk to you what? Not every day, but I talk to you 4 days a week.
Pretty
at
close,
least.
yeah.
Never even met you before. We met each other through Bo Mitchell.
Yes.
And the first thing that you said to me was basically as you referred to me as a hoser.
Yes.
And I hadn't been called that in so long. You remember Strange Brew?
Oh, yeah.
The McKenzie brothers?
I hope everybody remembers.
And I just thought that was so funny. And ever since then, basically all we do is make smart-ass comments back and forth to one another. But you become such a regular part of my life that it's crazy that I've never, laid eyes on you in person before. So for you
In
coming
town
on the
from
show,
Pittsburgh.
Yes.
in town from Pittsburgh,
Nice.
Yes.
and you're doing the St. Jude Marathon.
Half marathon. First time. First half marathon ever.
Awesome.
And-
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
But you're fit. You've got a fitness background.
Yeah.
Do a lot of CrossFit.
Yes.
How much running do you do?
Not as much as I should for this, but I started training whenever we decided we were going to do this, I do CrossFit 5 days a week, and then I would do 1 day of outside of that of running.
But you've been training pretty balls out for this. I've seen your times. And
we'll see.
I mean, a 2-hour half marathon for your first half marathon.
That's my goal. We'll see if I hit it.
You're going to hit it.
Oh, yeah, you can do that.
I don't have any doubt about it because your times say that you will. And then having never run an event like this and getting to the St. Jude Marathon of all places, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised how much adrenaline and how much just action there is.
What is the furthest race you've actually done?
5K.
Okay.
That's even better.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I actually did that. This summer was the very first time I ever ran like an official 5K.
Wow.
So, I mean, we've done them at the gym, just like trail runs and stuff like that, but not an official race.
Just curious.
Yeah.
And how many people were at that 5K-ish?
Maybe 100. I ran it up in Massachusetts.
I'm thinking about what it's going to be like for you to line
Yeah,
up with
I'm kind of
20,000
like
other
terrified.
people.
There's going to be 27,000 people surrounding me.
Yeah, so the best piece of advice I can give you is don't let the adrenaline get to you and don't chase people down in the first 2 miles. Like, run your race, stick to your pace those first couple miles.
Yeah.
It won't work either
Yeah,
way.
Wilson, run your pace.
I'll see you Saturday morning when we take a picture or whatever. And if you want to run a 2-hour half and I want to run a 4-hour full, we'll
There
just
you
Be
go.
running the same
Run
pace.
together.
That's right. Yeah, we do start at the same time, don't we?
We do.
That would be cool. Yeah, because then it will happen.
I'm hoping.
You can't be running next to Vaughn and be like, I just can't.
Yeah, I'll do it. If I can find the right
Vaughn
pace.
might talk you into running the full.
I'll just keep on running.
keep going, man.
No, don't turn in. Just keep going with me. We're on a good pace. You got this. Your training's good.
We were talking before the show, and Vaughn, I remember sending you a screenshot of my watch. How when I first started running, and I cared about my times and stuff. I was running a 2-hour half marathon up until the 9-mile point, and then I stopped and I took a crap, and then wound up finishing in like 3 hours. Like I went from 9:15 pace to like 20 or something. Probably more than that, 22, 24. And then Thirsty over here.
I had a similar story from Chicago. I was on a 3:40 pace marathon pace at Chicago, and stopped to use the bathroom at mile 18, and must have lost all the electrolytes because I immediately started cramping up after that, and finished in just under 5 hours, I think.
That's a big difference. That's a long 18 to 22.
Well, and I was
340.
explaining, like, it was so bad, like I was cramping so bad that like just itching, like reaching to itch my back, my pecs would cramp up, like everything was cramping up in my body, no matter what. And it was so funny. I remember the first time I ever got mad at a spectator because somebody was like, "Come on, man, you can run. You got more in you." And I was like, "You shut the heck up!" Like, I was like, "You don't know what it's like to be out here right now. You aren't, 20 miles in, 22 miles in. You go catch up to me at 22 miles.
It's
and
so
you tell
weird
me you still
how,
got some
how
left."
long distance running affects people, because I have a neighbor who is like, he played football for UT, and like he's a super runner. Like all he does is run. I swear, him and his wife run like at least 2 to 3 hours a day.
Wow.
And like and one day when I first started running, when I was going to go run my first marathon, I was like, "Well, hey man, got any advice? What marathon have you run? Like, and how?" And he goes, "Man, I don't run marathons. I tried to run a marathon one time and I ran 18 miles and fell out on had to sit down and quit on the side of the road because I was so everything was so cramping up and all this stuff." And I was like, "Oh, that's kind of scary," because you're the guy that everybody's like, "You're the runner."
Well, that was the other thing that I said before we started recording was I've had a lot of good training schedules where I've trained really well and I was well prepared for a race, but I've never executed a race well. I've never ever had a race, a marathon distance race that has been executed well. So maybe someday I'll get the motivation to actually train for a
I've
marathon
always never
again.
prepared well and executed well.
Well, you're that guy. You're that guy that
the
goes
natural.
into
Yeah.
the. You're that guy that goes into the pain cave and makes it comfy and feel like home, and you're
Terrible,
just happy to be
terrible.
there. So And
I've always executed at the exact level of my preparedness, and that shows. I've never finished a race and thought, golly, I just thought I was going to do so much better. I've finished a race and said, golly, I got to train so much harder, but I never do.
I never do.
But, Vaughn talking about that guy that runs 2 or 3 hours a day and kills it but won't do a marathon, I think that's pretty common. I know that a lot of people, like in the DeSoto Runners Club, will run every weekend 10 miles Saturday and Sunday, but that's where they stop. That's where they're – and some people just enjoy running at they don't want to run if they're not going to be running at a certain –
Yeah.
And I get that. If you're an athlete and you're used to this, then you want to do that.
One of my favorite stories is from Lynn where, and this is back before she and I started running together, maybe late 90s, early 2000s. She was running with people, and she was running 10 to 12 miles a weekend. Somebody's like, oh, let's go do the St. Jude half. She's like, I'm not running that far. It's like, you're already running 10 to 12 miles. It's only like another couple miles and it's a half marathon. But anyways.
Back to our guest.
Yeah, sorry.
When did your fitness journey start? Now, you had a period of fatness, correct?
Yeah. Probably about 2009, I kind of hit the wall. One of my summer jobs is I chaperone kids overseas every summer. And I ate my way across Australia
Nice.
for 3 weeks, and then the Dominican Republic for a week, and it all inclusive. And when I got home, over the summer I had gained between 20 and 25 pounds.
Whoa.
I was like, okay. And then I went to the doctor to get my blood work done, and I was flying to see my best friend in Madison, and I got a phone call when I got to the airport in Milwaukee. They're like, you need to get in to see us right away. Your cholesterol has skyrocketed. So I said, okay. So I got home and then started getting a diet together and kind of running, going to, I don't know if you guys have them down here in Mississippi, the Fitness 19 gyms. I don't know if you have those. It's like $19 a month. It's basically just like treadmills, ellipticals. They have
Planet
weights, but
Fitness
nothing.
or whatever.
Yeah, nothing great. But it was really boring because I felt like I was like, okay, I'm on elliptical for a half hour a day. Nothing really exciting. And then I started researching just like anything better than that. And I found CrossFit videos. And I was like, okay, I could try it. And so I Googled it, and there were 2 gyms in Pittsburgh. One was CrossFit Pittsburgh. It was the first CrossFit in the city of Pittsburgh, but it was about 35 minutes away from my house. So I was like, that's not going to work. And then I found Raw Training, which was 10 minutes from my house. So I emailed them, and they're like, okay, come in for like your fundamentals class. So I went through that, and they're like, I did that. I had never lifted weights in my life because when I played tennis in high school and college, it was all just run. That was your training. Just go out and run sprints or run distance just for your endurance. So then when I got into there, I learned all these things. I'm like, I've never done this. But then I was like, I'll try it. And then they threw me in my first class after fundamentals. My first workout was Fran. And I shit my pants watching people just lay across the floor like, what are we doing? And I almost turned around and walked back out when I saw them laying there. And the owner, Amy, she's like, you're not going anywhere. Get in there and do it. And I did it. I mean, I struggled, but that was 9 years ago when I first started with CrossFit. So after 9 years, you would think I'd be better at something with CrossFit, but it's fun. I enjoy the CrossFit a lot. It's mostly for the community that we have up there.
That's the way I am. Yeah, I don't know that I was probably better. I was definitely on a better trajectory of CrossFit when I started 4 years ago. If you took
Back
where I
when he
was
trying to impress a girl.
That's right. And then I got her sitting next to me, and I was like, the whole fitness thing.
It's all done. I'm done with that now.
I'm just going to buy some recording equipment and talk about it. I don't really want to work that hard at it. But yeah, I had a trajectory that was much more impressive than it is now. But I also have more fun with it now than I did, I believe, and more fun with the people.
Yeah, when I started, I actually we host a big competition every year, and the first year I was at Raw, I judged. I was like, I can do the judging part, and my trainer's like, next year you're competing. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And then I did sign up the next year. I'm like, okay, we'll do it. Everybody from the gym like, it'll be fun. Like 85 guys and there was like 80 girls. It was a huge competition, and my goal was just to do everything RX, just to see how I did. And I came in last place, and I really didn't even care.
Yeah.
I said, I did it.
And did anybody else care? No,
Absolutely.
So
So I was like, okay, that's my one and done competition. Then I got talked into do it again the next year. I said, okay, my goal this year, not to be last. That was set my bar. I made it the next to last. So I was like, yes, I didn't finish last. But I mean, I've done some team competitions at our gym, and I mean, our gym's very strong. We have about 300 or 400 members, I think, of ours.
That's a big gym.
And we actually hosted 18.2 this year for the CrossFit Games, the announcement, which was a total blast. So much fun to watch that. And just to see them live do those kind of workouts.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I mean, it was the dumbbell squats and burpees, and then you had to do the cleans. And they finished at like 3.5 minutes. And I was like, oh my God. But then I did. That was the one you and I were talking about when you did the dumbbells wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was when I grabbed a 50-pound dumbbell and a 45-pound dumbbell, and I got finished, and it was pointed out that I had a 45-pound dumbbell, and I had to do it again. That was so stupid. Yeah. But was the production of that as crazy as you would think it to be?
It was weird because like we found out when we got it, and then it was very hush-hush, like, are we getting tickets? How do we do this? And they gave us, I think it was $25 a ticket, and they had a certain amount they had. So of course everybody's trying to get them, and then CrossFit showed up.
Do you buy the tickets from CrossFit or your
Yeah,
gym?
they weren't through our gym. The CrossFit had said you had to go onto their website and order them, and then we got them when we got to Raw. They showed up Tuesday, I think because it was Thursday night when they did the announcement, and Wednesday they came in and they ripped our entire.
Took down all your rigs
they took
and everything.
all the rigs. Everything was gone.
Oh my gosh, what
and
a
like we
nightmare.
walked in, we're like, what the hell? Like they took everything down, and then the announcement was at 8:00 that night. They did the workout. Everybody's out of there by 10:00. They had everything back together by 2 in the morning.
Wow.
It was like a real assembly line. It was pretty cool to see.
I wonder if it's worth it. It's one of those things like looking at it from our side, like you go, man, that's a huge deal for the guy that owns that gym. But then the guy that owns the gym is probably like, man, I don't want to do that anymore. Like, just turn your world upside down for a whole week. And
you just piss
didn't
off your
really get
members for 2
anything out of
days
it.
or whatever.
You know?
But it really wasn't even that bad because like we worked out Wednesday that night. We have the way our gym is set up. We have a real tiny room, which we originally started in a room. We call it the little raw room. And then we expanded into another room, and then we expanded to another. It's an old flea market building.
Oh,
so it's like a big like warehouse. And little by little, they would knock down walls, and then we would expand more room. And then we also have an indoor soccer field that we can do during the wintertime. We push our sleds and all that fun stuff.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
So
That is so cool.
So we get to do that. So we had places we could still train, even though they tore apart our main room. We just were in the field and in the little room. But then the next day it was back to normal. Like and you had Gina DeLucia on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's a member of our gym.
Uh-huh.
And so I just saw her. She came up for our competition in October, and she did. I think she took 9th place with her partner.
Oh, yeah, Gina.
Now, is she
That's
from
right. I
Pittsburgh?
forgot.
Yes,
Or-
she's
and she
from
just
Pittsburgh.
lives in.
She goes to college at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Her parents live in
Yes.
Pittsburgh.
Her mom goes to our gym.
That was one of those many. It's a small world.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
things.
crazy.
Yeah. Now, when you said CrossFit came in, like when they come in on that Wednesday, I'm assuming it's not just a couple guys that have a tool belt on. I mean, they just come rolling in there like
trailers
gangbusters.
coming in, setting up like right in the middle of our parking lot. Like we were trying to go inside to see what was going on. It was kind of like we couldn't even get in to see what was going
super
on.
secret stuff.
Yeah, so like I went down the one night to pick up tickets, and I drove in, and the girl, Janine Marcoux, she's our marathon coach, and she's also a member of Lift Heavy Run Long. She came out and like handed me my stuff, and I'm like, can I at least go in? And it looks just like, no, you're not allowed in. And then you could see all the lights and everything were set up and everything. So,
Wow.
But it was pretty cool to see. It's a pretty big spectacle. It
And
was
you were like,
exciting.
well, screw you. I'm going to go join you. down the
Yeah, fine. You won't let me in.
300 people. How many people are in one class?
Depends.
Do you have to make reservations?
No.
Really?
We have enough room that we don't have to cap our class as well. During the week, I always go to the 5:15 at night, and it's 20, 25 people maybe.
Okay.
And on the weekends, on Saturdays, we have 7, 8, 9, 10. 7 o'clock's the big class. I don't get up that early to work out. But then on Sundays, we have a cardio assault class. We only had one. It was 11:15. Last week, we had 72 people show
Oh,
up.
my God.
And they always planned for 60. And they just kept watching the people walk in.
How many coaches for 70 people?
2.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
Wow.
I was just thinking. I was like looking at Amanda. I was like, how would that feel to coach just a class of 20 or 30 people, let alone a
Yeah.
class of 7?
You're
70
like, guess what, everybody? 7 minutes of burpees. You're ready. We're
Go.
gonna warm up with Roxanne.
I'll be in my car crying.
So now they split the class up. Now we have 2 cardio assault classes, but with 60 people, we have enough room that we can hit, like they set it up. There's a station, like some of you start over here and just kind of circle your way through.
Sure.
So a lot of running, rowing, things like that.
Nice.
Well, you do a lot of running at your gym, don't you?
Yeah, we do a lot. And art programming, it's hard for me to compare it to other gyms because I've only been to run. I've been to 2 other outside gyms. We do a lot of running, very heavy stuff. We're our competitive team. They've made the games 6 times, I think. And they were actually there this summer in Madison. And 6 years ago, they took 5th in the CrossFit games. It was pretty amazing. And so our coaches program a lot of heavy work for us. But you scale it as you need to. But sometimes sometimes it's overkill. But that's just the way it is with CrossFit, I think.
I think CrossFit by nature is overkill. That's what makes it CrossFit.
Well, when you have 300 people in your gym, you're going to have to just stick to something and let everything else kind of scale down for everyone. You know, you can't program for 300 people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, this gets into the philosophy of programming and stuff like that, but you're supposed to program for the fire breathers and everybody else scales.
Sure.
The problem is depending on how the gym is run and what the community's like, there are people that feel like they should RX regardless. And that mentality is what needs to change. You program for your fire breathers.
Even that, when you're talking about a gym that has 75 people, that thing is a bigger thing than when you have 300. When you got 300 people, I don't even care what those 10 people that think they should be doing the RX weight think. Like, I've got 300 people here, not 70 to where, we pissed off 5 people, and that's a high percentage of our membership.
Sure.
You got 300 people.
Sure.
You got 5 people that don't like what you're doing. Well, they're just going to have to either stick around or go somewhere
But 300, that also includes, we do a lot of high school classes for
awesome.
for training. So we have some of that's included in the members. I would say in a typical day at Raw, we probably get about maybe like 150 people a day through all the classes.
Classes?
Yeah,
wow, that's impressive.
We have 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 8, 9:30, 11, and then at night 4, 5, 15, 6:30, and 7:30.
Wow.
So.
Do y'all have a lot of structured classes for specific things like run classes and marathon classes?
We do have a marathon training program that Janine runs. Amy also, one of the owners, she does a lot of the programming for the gamers who want to be real competitive, and she does a lot of that. A lot of that's done early in the morning. They always come in early in the morning, so we really don't see a lot of that. But for the most part, it's just straight across. We have like the cardio class. We have a cardio class, just cardio, like 3 or 4 times a week, but it's mostly just straight CrossFit.
What does that programming look like as opposed to everybody? A regular day at CrossFit is this workout and this barbell exercise and this workout, and then the marathon class would just be like intervals thrown on top of that, or is it a completely
a lot of the
different
marathon
hour?
They do on their own. Like Janine sets up a schedule for them, so this is what you need to be doing along with your CrossFit classes. You need to run this or do this. So a lot of that's done on their own time whenever they can get in to do it.
So the CrossFit endurance philosophy,
yes,
which is probably 2 days of short intervals and a long run, along with your 3 to 4 days of CrossFit.
Yeah.
And do you participate in that?
I haven't yet. I mean, even training for this, I kind of figured out my own thing. Just tried to see what I could do. I started with a program. I looked up some online. I found one. It was the first week.
We have a half marathon training program in the app.
I know you do.
Steve Wilk is on the app.
It was called, the one you found was called the Lift Heavy Run Long.
Yes. So I did one. It was like you run 3 miles the first week. They said you're supposed to run 3 times a week, but I was only running once because I was doing the CrossFit the other 5 days. So I figured I can just do one run. So I did 3 miles one week. The next week you did 4. Then you went back to 3. Then you went to 5, 3, and you just kept working your way up till you hit to 13. I hit to about 10, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I think not that I was PRing it, but I was like, okay, I think I can do this now without going more than 10 miles. Because I figure if I can get to 10, I can finish the 13 at that point.
Yeah.
The confidence was high at that point.
Yeah.
I would have read that as run 3 miles before your marathon, and then not really gotten much further than that in the program.
But we've had people in our gym who've just done straight CrossFit and no running, and then go out and run the half marathon.
So we've actually got a couple of people in the gym that have taken up running races this year and similar mentality. Like they didn't do any training. They were just CrossFitters, and they're like, oh, I'm going to go run a half marathon this weekend without any training at all, and survived it. And they're like, okay, so if I train a little bit, then I might be faster at a half marathon.
Right.
Yes.
I've always said
Jenny, blanking on her last
Love
name.
it.
Love it. Thank you. She's running her first full tomorrow.
Oh, I didn't know that she was.
Oh, I didn't know she was running that.
She and Bridget are running
I'm
the full.
excited about
Oh,
that.
good for them.
She's going to crush it.
Yes, you will. And she hated running.
Oh,
She
and,
did.
well, and
I
so I
never
ran
will.
into Bridget at the expo today, and she's like, Jenny's going to bitch about it the whole time. She's
Yeah.
going to complain, but that's just Jenny's thing. Jenny's going to, and it is what it is, but she's going to finish it, and she's going to do well, and I believe that. I mean, I've run a couple of races with her, and that's what she does. She just, kind of bitches and moans the whole time, but she sticks with you, like whatever. If you're like, all right, we're running, if we do like run walk, it's like, okay, we're running, and this is the pace we're going at, just keep up. She'll whine about it, but she keeps up with you. Mm-hmm. So,
Well, I feel so much better. I am in such a better place with what I'm doing now, which is staying active in the event area of things and not doing any running training, but keeping up with the CrossFit. I think that before my problem would be that I would take a little bite of running. So, I would run I'd say I'd do a long run on the weekend, and then I would be kind of laid up for a few days. So then Wednesday, maybe I'd go run again. And then before you know it, I've missed a week of CrossFit, but I'm kind of into the running. And then I decide, well, I kind of got to get, maintain some strength. So I do a little bit of CrossFit. So I was never really doing both.
right.
You're at least not very well. And I think that's, a lot because just I'm not conditioned well enough to do that. I'm not disciplined well enough to do that. And then I start aching. I'm like, I just don't really want to do that. So now I feel good doing CrossFit only and then doing these events and suffering through those. I don't really know why I shared that with anybody. It's, but not to say that that's like
'Cause it's
what
your-
somebody must do.
It's your podcast. You can share whatever
That's
the hell
right.
you want.
I can. I talked about Christmas lights. I can talk about my training methods.
At least we're talking about running now, right?
At least we're not talking about football anymore.
Right. Well, I am on our 50K training program, and I'm sticking to it probably 95%.
Other than I'm going to run a marathon this weekend.
Other than I'm going to run a marathon, and that's not scheduled. And people like to criticize this whole CrossFit endurance,
Mentality.
That's the only thing. I guess we should start calling it the lift heavy, run long instead of CrossFit endurance. But these guys don't run, but it's a lot of running. It might only be 3 days a week, but like the 2 days are very intense. The intervals, and then this, I've run 13, 10, 10 on the weekends. I'm running a lot, So it's not like you're just farting around doing these guys think they can just go do CrossFit and not run, but we run,
How do you feel? How does your body feel since you've ramped up your...
Fantastic.
Do you?
Even better. It gets better every day, and I'm getting more addicted to it, so it's good. Good for me.
Do you have a problem
hate your
staying
motivation.
on the...
Yeah, me too.
Do you have a problem not... do you have a problem staying dual focused? Is it hard for you to... Do you ever feel like, I just kind of want to run and get away from the CrossFit? Or
No, because what I've done is I think what I'm going to be doing and what I've been doing is on a run day, I just run and don't worry about going to the gym. So instead of going to the gym 6 days a week, I might go 4. You know what I mean? And then just make sure I get all 3 runs in for the week. So I don't want to lose either one, but I want to make sure I get all the runs in, all 3. So
I'm getting pretty anchored into F3. So I've got
I
friends.
noticed you were doing that again.
Yep. I've got 4 friends that are consistently doing it, 4 high school friends. Okay. So it's fun to get together with, those guys and work out. And I like the long workout. I like the interval running. And I'm just enjoying the structure of it. So I'm hoping to kind of do maybe CrossFit Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and steady F3 on Tuesday and Thursday. I don't think I want to work out 5 days a week, but that'd be on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If I'm somewhere, be at CrossFit Tuesday or Thursday if I'm somewhere, be it.
So you made it past the whole ruck thing and
That's right.
all that terribleness.
My bad
You've forgiven
vibes
them?
from the ruck. And it was never an F3 thing. I think you
I thought that was
put
an
that
F3.
you put that out there. That was totally your words, not mine.
I know. I'm sorry.
That had nothing to do with the people of F3.
No.
It just had to do with rucking. Like, I don't want to. I'll never ruck. I'm not doing any more ruck. Somebody was talking about they're doing a 50-mile ruck, star ruck in Atlanta that doesn't involve like the carrying of the pole. It doesn't involve the PT.
Just
or
a backpack.
whatever they call it, just a backpack, and you walk. And there was for a second like, that wouldn't be as bad as the other stuff was. I mean, that would be terrible, but I'm still not gonna do it.
We'll see.
So what do you have in the future, Steve? Do you have any, where does the half marathon lead to?
Right now, I'm registered for Sillamore with
Nice.
you guys.
That's
Oh,
right.
hell
You're
yeah.
staying with
Yeah,
us.
that's right.
That's right. I totally forgot about
So
that.
that's in the book. That's
Yeah.
in the plans right now.
Man,
we'll
that
see
means
how
we're
that
gonna
goes.
have
Oh, it's gonna go.
we're gonna have 2 ambassadors in town for that race. Crystal will be in town. Well, Crystal's in town for St. Jude also. But typically at Sillamore we do a podcast recording of some sort. So the fact that we
Damn
might
right.
be able to,
Dude,
the fact that
you're
we might
gonna
have,
go to
have both of
Sillamore.
them on the show with us simultaneously is
You're
pretty
gonna
awesome.
be hooked after Sillamore. That's so good. It's like drugs.
We need to figure out how to get Sillamore to just rename that to the LHRL Experience race. You know, like-
LHRL Palooza.
Which one is the race when you guys have to climb the tower?
Oh no, that's
Big
That's
Hill
Big
Pond.
Hill
Big
Pond.
Hill.
I do want to do that one too.
Yeah.
That's
well next October.
yeah.
Next
That's
October.
that's what I'm planning on.
I will definitively not be there.
That's
this,
what you
in
said.
2019.
I totally forgot that you were doing that you signed up for the 50K. I mean, you talk about a guy that's easy to convince.
Yeah,
of
you guys
this
have me.
stuff.
I'm in the middle of teaching, and you're like, they're fine. Just let the kids do it. I'm like, they're fine for 5 minutes. I'm on the computer, like, go to gym, and I'm like on the computer, like,
Get
stressing
on
out,
that.
trying to get on there to
I
register
can't
for
believe
it.
you did that. That was so ballsy. And you're doing the 50K, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Haven't
Get on that
run a marathon
50K
before.
Yeah,
program,
we'll see.
bro. We're gonna have to do some runs.
We're like, come stay with us. Like, we'll figure it out. Like, just come podcast.
Yeah,
Well,
whatever.
just know
The
that
hell.
Wilson won't let you quit.
Yeah.
And that's the
I
truth.
know
We'll-
that.
We'll make it through.
I know.
I promise you we'll make it through.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
there hasn't
that's
been much
fantastic.
training for it yet, so we'll see what happens.
Wilson has a 100% success rate on not being pulled from that race.
That's right. And they're pretty lenient. They're very lenient there.
Well, he crushed the Big Hill Pond cutoff.
Yeah, he did.
You know, and so I think you're leveling up and you don't realize it. Like you still think you're the same person you were a few years ago or whatever. I think you're gradually getting better and better.
I feel like I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I joke about it, but I'm good.
Right.
I think
He just doesn't want anybody to think that he's
no expectations. I
has
don't want
any
anybody to have any expectations
Exactly.
of me.
Exactly.
No expectations, but he can probably make sure that he's right at that cutoff or just behind it, so he doesn't.
Well,
miss it, you know?
and what would be the purpose? I mean, if the cutoff is 9 hours,
Why would you finish any?
why would you finish in any
He's
less?
getting his
why
money's
rush it?
worth. He's
Why
just
rush
getting
it?
his money's worth.
But I mean, who's gonna? If I finish in 8:48, they're gonna be like, "Whoa, that guy, he did great, man. He did 8:48, not 9." It's like that doesn't make any difference. I mean, that's it would be different if it's 7.5 first 9. That's
Sure.
something. But I mean, I got there's people to talk to. I want to enjoy my time out there. So
all
just
that
cut
matters.
off is cool.
I just
C for cut off.
the thing I see more than anything else is you feeling better at the end of the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, for sure.
I mean, regardless of the time, however long it takes you, you feel better at the end of the race, and,
Yeah.
I like that because I've seen you at the end of some of these races just looking wrecked and destroyed, and I'm like, God, that's just I
You
don't
still
know how he
didn't hear
does
him in the
that.
hotel room in the shower after.
Oh, I'm
50
sure.
miles.
I'm sure he still has his moments, but
No,
but
I
he was
agree.
he was back at CrossFit Tuesday or Wednesday after Tunnel Hill.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, it's just he's a different.
Do you
he's
remember
becoming
the
a
first
different
tunnel
guy.
hill that we ran? Like me and Wilson both could barely walk the next day.
I do remember that.
Because
That
you
was-
guys crawled part of that race.
Literally,
crawled, yeah.
Amanda crawled.
literally
She got on the
hands
ground
and
and
knees
crawled.
Yeah.
in like a manic kind of That's
In
weird.
my mind, I hadn't had electrolytes in a while, and my heart was shutting down because my potassium was depleted.
See, this is where being
My-
too smart
Yeah.
it goes
My
against you.
fluoride channels were shutting down.
She's like, holy shit, I'm dying.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I'm dying. This is going to be how I die in the cold,
I guess
dark.
a
woods in
doctor's
Illinois.
survival mode is a whole different level of survival mode for us. Like us, we're like,
Well, he
my
found a
legs
Snickers
are
on the
not
ground.
working, my hip hurts, and she's like, my body doesn't have electrolytes. And she's like,
My sodium
overanalyzing.
potassium channels are shutting
so
down.
scientific.
I'm not even smart enough to make a funny joke. But know that I would have.
But that was what was going through my head. I was like, here I am. I'm dying. My heart is just going to stop beating. But I made it. Wilson's like, get up.
Get up.
Get up.
That-
And
is
the
what I said.
gravel was hurting my knees.
I was like, that's ridiculous. Get up. It's not going to work. But yeah, I think it was that Snickers bar that I found on the ground.
Yeah, he found a Snickers bar on the ground right before I started crawling and
that
ate it.
saved my life.
It's always
so
good when
my
you find one of
potassium
those.
electrolytes. And
It was wrapped.
magnesium.
For everybody to know, it was wrapped.
Wrapped or unwrapped?
It was wrapped.
At that point, it wouldn't matter.
It was fate. It needed to be eaten. If you find a Snickers bar, whether you're hungry or not, or in the
Wrapped
middle
or
of
unwrapped?
50K or not,
Don't worry about the needle sticking out the side of it. Don't worry about
Because I was
any
like,
of
he's
those
like,
things.
I was like, you gonna eat that? What if somebody's messing
Put
with
it-
that? He's like,
put it in
I'm
your
hungry.
Survival, baby, survival.
what about your sodium potassium garpide stuff? Very different.
Oh, good times. We're gonna have a great race this weekend.
We
Yeah.
are.
It's
I'm
gonna be a lot of
excited.
fun.
Oh, except for the running part, we're gonna have a
Well,
good time.
Looking forward to meeting a lot of the people that I've talked to online.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see. Like I can
There's
meet
going to
Crystal.
be a shit ton of
I'm
people
looking
there.
forward to
Yeah,
meeting
there is.
Crystal. It'll be
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yep. Where are you staying?
The Hilton in South Haven.
And how long you in town for?
So I fly back Monday morning.
Okay, that's good. You got a good visit. That'll be fun.
Yes.
Are you gonna do the tour? Who was it? Was that Robin that came in town and like
Yeah.
she went out
Yeah.
to like Shelby Forest,
Shelby Forest and came to Olive Branch CrossFit and went to a yoga class. Went to Charlie's yoga class.
and she did like the
She did
LHRL tour.
everything. Yeah, wow, that's awesome.
I have
So-
no schedule, so we'll just see
You
whatever
gonna go to
happens.
Graceland?
Thinking
any
about
desire
it.
to go to Graceland?
Maybe.
I've never been to Graceland. I've never taken the tour of Graceland.
Well, it's because you're from Memphis. We're
That's
not
right,
supposed
yeah.
to have gone.
I'm hoping my parents come in after Christmas because I want to go to Graceland so bad I can't stand it and I can't find anybody to go with. And I've about called
That's-
his dad a couple times because
That's
his
the
dad loves
Chattanooga girl.
Graceland.
That's the
Graceland.
Chattanooga girl in you that wants to go see Graceland.
So I'm gonna try to get mom to go because she was a huge Elvis fan.
My dad on Elvis week will take the week off work
Yes.
and just sit there,
He
No
takes
way.
a fold-out chair and sits
drink
down.
beer, and talk to the
At
Elvis impersonators at Graceland.
Really?
Because I mean, it's a whole event. I mean, it's
That's
a
fantastic.
huge, it's a huge
Okay.
thing. And they have Elvis impersonators who sit up on stage and just round the clock.
Oh my God.
I mean, I don't know if it's 24 hours, but they're up there all the time.
Wow.
And if you go into the parking lot out there, there is like 0 Tennessee tags. It's people from all over the
wow.
country, and he just likes talking to the folks
That's crazy.
and getting to know people.
Why hasn't your dad ever
I
been
might
on
have
the
to do
podcast?
that.
That's a good question.
Your dad would be an interesting guy to have on the
He's
podcast.
interesting. Interesting is definitely a term that sums him up. My aunt will be in town next week, and she's
She
going
gonna be a guest?
She's going to be in the studio audience.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the one that painted that picture.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And she was like rescheduling. She was scheduling around watching the podcast being recorded.
That's awesome.
Like she's psyched
Yeah,
up.
like she
She's
set her
awesome.
flight and then realized she was gonna come in on Thursday and then she realized she needed to back it up to Wednesday so she'd be here Thursday so she could watch the podcast.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Anybody else got anything?
Well, Steve?
Nope.
That's a fast.
Steve,
hour.
how do we find you online?
Man, that was quick.
I'm on Facebook and then Steve Wilk 11 on Instagram. That's
Okay.
it.
Nice.
No Twitters?
I do, but I'm not on it very often.
Okay.
If you ever get up to CrossFit Raw, drop in and say hi.
Come on in. We'll take you guys in.
It's great having you.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Lift heavy, run long. Number 125 is in the Bucks.
Books.
Did I say Bucks?